Okay, welcome guys. So today we'll be doing the first episode of, let me start that over again.
Yeah, clap.
Do a clap?
Oh yeah, okay.
Yeah,
Boom.
clap to sync.
Okay. Hey guys, welcome to Real Talk with P&J. So I am Joy Rowden, I'll be your co-host today.
And I'm Priscilla, and I will be your co-host as well.
So today's topic is about relationships, and we'll be inputting our experiences as well about this topic.
Yeah, so we're here with Aaron, Greg, Riley, and Hikaru. So you guys can all say what's up.
Hello.
Hello.
All right, so what is your guys' relationship status at the moment, Aaron?
I am single.
I'm currently in a relationship.
I'm also currently in a relationship.
I'm also currently in a relationship.
Awesome.
And Priscilla, how about
Oh,
you?
yeah. I'm also currently in a relationship, and Riley is too. I mean, Joy is too. Sorry. And Joy.
Yes.
I get mixed up with all these names. Oh,
I
my
mean,
gosh.
You're
I'm
not
sorry.
wrong, so.
That is true. I'm not wrong.
Okay, so our first topic is about what are the different expectations you had when you were, let's say you were single or at the beginning of like a relationship. Like, what is something, like in my experience, I kind of cliche and superficial, but I thought, you know, all those cute dates that you see on like Instagram, this and that, I didn't know I was gonna be the one planning all the cute dates. I thought my boyfriend would be, but I love him, but all that creativity comes from me. So I guess that's one expectation that I had.
I think that's the same with me. In terms of, I'm not saying that all men are like this, but I think it does tend to be the woman that creates a lot of these so-called fantasies of what their dates should be like. Or let's say, I know that I tend to go above and beyond when it comes to gifts and when it comes to planning dates, when it comes to planning anything that's fun.
Oh, for sure.
I mean, he does things that are fun. I'm not saying that he's boring, right? But I am saying that I tend to go the extra mile. I'm extra though, so that makes
Yeah,
sense.
I totally feel that. Like, I spent like $110 in like November just to go to Saved by the Max. Like, I was like, this is a date, like we're going, and he would not do that. But that's something I wanted to do.
What is your, like, as men, like, what is your intake on that?
I don't know. That seems like a lot to digest right now.
Yeah.
Because from what I'm understanding, is the expectation is like cutesy dates or just like big major dates going on and stuff. Is that correct?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I guess.
Yeah.
It's like, if I'm going to do this for you, can you do this for me?
I think that if you have an expectation, you should just vocalize that, right?
Right.
Yeah, I agree with that. Just say what you want or what you expect, and the other person will listen and possibly understand.
That's true.
I think above all, I expected just companionship, you
Yeah.
know, with the other person. Whatever their love language may be, whether that's, you know, physical affection or gifts or quality time, I feel like I just expected to mesh well with.
So how do
My
you
partner.
like how do you vocalize that? And like for you guys, like if there's like your love language is different, one's gifts, one's affection, one's time, like how would you figure that out? Would you like tell them, or would you expect them to figure that out on their own?
You know, I got really lucky with Greg, you know, because Greg and I were friends for a long time before we got together, like 5 years. And so we were already pretty in tune with each other, and we just talked about it. I remember we had a conversation about what our love languages were, and we're pretty in tune with each other.
I think it's super, super important to know what your partner's love language is, because I know that prior to knowing what my love language was, I couldn't even digest how to have him understand how to make the relationship work, in terms of, I don't understand your love language, therefore I'm doing what I know is best for me, but not for you. So yeah, I think everybody should know what their love language is.
Yeah, and it's also like a process of like figuring it out.
Oh,
Like,
yeah.
Also like yours and also the other person's. So it should be more like, I don't know, just taking note of what they do and how they react. You know,
Yeah.
like if you give them a hug, how do they, respond? Or give them a gift, or you do like an act of service. It has
Yeah.
to do with how they respond to it.
Mhm.
And then that's how you figure it out. At least that's kind of what I did.
Yeah. Do you know your love language, Kari?
I do, and I actually asked my boyfriend to take the love language test like at the beginning of the relationship, so that we both knew like what our love language was going into it. And I feel like just knowing that, and like we got really lucky. I think our love languages are pretty in tune with each other too. But it's like if you're dating someone who has like different love languages, then like you need to understand that like the way you think you're like you might be showing them love by like all these gifts, because gifts is your active or your love language. Then it's like, but they're not necessarily receiving love the way that you think you're showing them love. So it's like by knowing what your partner's love language is, like you can let them know like how you feel loved the most, and then you can also know how your partner feels loved the most. So like if your love language is words of affirmation, but I don't necessarily feel loved with words, like it's not going to make me feel loved, but I know that it's going to make you happy. So I'm going to shower you with words of affirmation.
Yeah.
That's true. And I think also when we talk about like love language, I think it's different when you are like, mine is different when I give love versus when I receive love. Like how I show love is usually like either spending time with people or giving them gifts, especially gifts. Like I go big, I go big or go home, but I don't really like, I like gifts, but that's not really important to me when it's like comes to love. But with love, I think it's more of like quality time, respect, loyalty, and maybe affirmation is a big part. So I think it's also different that way
definitely. Too. Do you know your love language by any chance?
I don't know. An act of love I would usually give to my family. I would talk to them, and
So like quality time, basically.
quality time, or sometimes I would cook for them, because I know like everyone in my family is like busy. I'm busy too.
Yeah.
So I would like help around. If they're worried about something they can't finish, I'll help them finish that.
Yeah.
And I do it without really telling them that much, because I just want them to be like happy that they don't have to complete the task, or that stress is off their shoulders. So I guess that's my way of showing affection to them.
Yeah, I think really paying attention to whoever you love is the most important thing. Like making sure that you understand them. But that takes a lot of time. And people have to be willing to take the time and be patient to learn and understand their partner or their family. Even with family members. Like sometimes you have to pay attention to what stresses them out, what doesn't stress them out, to make sure that, you know, everyone is kind of happy. I also had a question about, do you think that the media is changing the way relationships are viewed?
Yes.
How so?
What's that thing that people use to swipe left and right?
Tinder.
Oh,
Grindr?
Tinder
Oh,
and...
Tinder.
Yeah.
Yeah, Tinder and Grindr. I think that's kind of stigmatizing probably like hookup culture a bit more than it used to in the past. Because now it's like easy, you can like get on your phone and participate in that. And I don't know if that does a significant change in a positive or negative way, but I do think that it has a sort of impact in today's modern culture.
Yeah. What about you guys?
In terms of like just media, I think that like social media again
Yeah.
sort of changes, like, you know, because there's a lot of like fronting. You know, like the couple post the cute picture on Instagram, and they look so happy, and they look, you know, it's so beautiful, such a nice area. But like underneath that, like behind the scenes, like, you know, they might be fighting, there might be problems. So it gives like this false perception of like what their relationship actually is versus like what's, you know, actually going on. So that's, you know.
Any thoughts? Kari?
Oh, I agree with him. It's like anything that you post on social media is like a highlight reel of everyone, right? It's like you're never going to post like a mid-fight conversation on social media. So it's like, but like when you are like inclined to post something, it's probably going to be positive. And it's like if you're only seeing that, it gives people like a false perception of what your relationship is holistically looking like. But I think aside from that, social media does change things because people are just so easily accessible. It's just like people that you've never met before are just really easily accessible. So it just takes like an extra trust to like know that it's just in spite of that your partner is just like faithful.
Mm-hmm.
Also on the whole thing with social media and like people trying to like show that they have like the perfect life and they could be fighting like you guys said. I definitely think, I mean, I'm guilty of like posting a ton of like cute couple photos, but I do think that like for people who aren't in a relationship, I know when I was like in middle school and high school when I didn't have a relationship, I'd look at those couples and like it'd make me feel lonely. And I know some people probably want to rush into a relationship because they don't want to appear to be lonely or like there's no one that loves them, and that's kind of like not a good reason to be in a relationship. So I think that's one reason why social media would affect relationships today.
Yeah, I definitely agree. As well as, let's say that, especially on Valentine's Day, I think that a lot of people tend to compare their lives nowadays.
Definitely.
They look at the other person posting their perfect pictures on Instagram and they wish that they were that person. So there's a lot more self-doubt, self-consciousness that goes on in not only your relationship with yourself. So I think that really affects the relationship in general because you start with yourself, right?
Yeah.
So if you're doubting how perfect you are, or if you're not good enough because you see all these Instagram models or you see all these people that have perfect bodies, perfect faces, stuff like that, then you doubt yourself, and then that can affect the relationship because then you just have a lot of questioning.
That's true. And also like I'm not really like the type of person that like gets jealous like if like my boyfriend follows other girls or likes their photos, because I like respect that there's friends that people have the opposite gender, but I guess like for some people it might be hard like if they do see someone like following like whether it's a really hot guy or really cute girl and like it's a lot of them, then some people might find that alarming and it might affect their trust for them, or they might feel insecure like you were saying, Priscilla.
Yeah. That is actually really true. But I feel like, in my opinion, I don't do that. I don't really look at who my boyfriend is following. But I know that I have heard stories of people looking at who they're following, like the likes that they're doing, commenting.
Yeah.
That's a little excessive.
Yeah.
But I can see how that can affect it.
Did any of you guys like find your partner in college? Like,
No.
no?
No.
Okay, yeah. Because I was gonna ask
No.
that question, but I was like, I can't really answer that because I have a high school sweetheart.
High school sweetheart.
I mean, we started dating in college.
Oh, you did?
But we met in high school.
Oh,
Oh,
yeah,
okay.
yeah.
That doesn't really count.
Yeah.
I was gonna say, how's the dating culture in college?
No, we weren't.
Well, I mean, if we're in college, it is kind of like a dating culture, right?
Yeah, I guess, but it's like I don't know. For me, like, how do people like find like a partner in college? Because like that's just so like I don't know. I can't comprehend that because like I'm not looking for a partner. So I'm like, and like if you don't go to parties, like how do you find that person? You know, just to like even
I
date
don't know.
short term. Like I don't know how people do that here.
I don't know. I think it's a little different when you go and when you come into college already with someone. It's a little
Definitely.
different. Who knows? What's your idea of a perfect date?
Going back to what you guys were saying in the beginning about like how you guys are the ones that plan everything, so like some like a way to like overcome that would be to like to set up, so we have like weekly Saturday dates, so every Saturday night is like our date night, so every week we take turns being the one who decides who gets to pick the activity and dinner. And I feel like that if you guys have like some kind of like way that puts the role on your boyfriend, then it like I don't know, it would help him, just like encourage him to like come up with ideas and dinner plans
Yeah.
and things like that.
What's your
Sorry, no.
What's
Yeah.
your favorite like date that you've ever had?
We actually went on a double date 2 weeks ago, and that
Yeah,
was one of
we
my
did.
favorites. So he like wouldn't tell me where we were going or where we were eating, and he just told me who we're gonna meet up with, and we like showed up in front of like this mattress store.
Oh yeah.
I was like,
I thought we were lost too, because I was with my boyfriend and we were driving in a separate car,
Yeah.
and it took us to this weird alley-looking place,
Mhm.
And little did we know we had to drive a little further to actually get to the destination.
No, but I love surprises, and like he ended up just going to like this obstacle course place where just like you do mini golf, there's arcades, there's what
It was Glow Zone.
Glow Zone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was really fun. It
And
was
then
glow
we
in
went
the
to
dark
dinner
mini golf.
afterwards, and we all had movie night afterwards. It was just fun. Like I love when he surprises me, and he's just like, "All right, we're just gonna take you there." So
Yeah, that's kind of what my boyfriend and I do too. In the beginning of our relationship, I don't even remember how we did dates, but I think it was in the middle of last year. We overheard a couple when we were on a date saying that, oh, this is their date night. And I said, oh, we should start doing date night. So then after that, we started doing date night, and then we changed whoever did date night. So it was me one week, him the other week. So it's really interesting how when we were talking to Felix, he was saying, oh, we have date night every week, and we change who plans what. And I said, oh, we do too. So, I don't know.
I think my perfect date, well, one date idea I have that I have not spoken to my boyfriend about yet is I think it'd be really cool. You guys know that like clear like slide in LA?
Oh,
Yes.
yeah, I've heard of it.
Like I want to go there at sunset. Like that looks like so much fun but
Mhm.
terrifying at the same time. But I
Just don't
think
look down.
was that?
Just don't look down.
Yeah, like I'm not afraid of heights, but I'm afraid of falling. So if I fell through that would not be okay. But I think something that would be really cool would be like I don't know where I would go to do this, but you know, just putting like a little like picnic blanket out on the grass and like being able to see all the stars and just like talk, you know.
yeah. What
But-
about you guys?
I'm not gonna lie, we're kind of a boring couple.
Yeah.
We're like total homebodies, and we're like, we say we're each other's worst enablers because it's like we'll have plans and then we'll go, or we could stay home, and then the other one goes, that's a great idea, and then we lay in bed and take a nap. So
Yeah.
I like those kind of dates though. It's nice. Like I associate time with Greg as a time to just really decompress and relax. He puts me at peace, honestly. Like he relaxes me like nothing else.
That's cool.
That's
You know?
really good.
What's your idea of a perfect date?
Oh man, this is. I do actually have one, but it's really out there.
Go ahead. Go for it.
I want to hear it.
I
Yeah, me
proposed this
too.
a couple times. Go into a haunted asylum or one of those like haunted houses and just go in like ghost hunting, ghost searching, or like
That sounds
those
exciting.
those haunted castles in Scotland or something. I don't know. I just like dead stuff.
What about an escape room?
Nah, that puts people in the worst kind of situations. And I know my friends very well. I would never do an escape room with them. Like
Would
at
they
all.
freak out?
I'm pretty sure at some point someone will start trying to scratch the walls.
Oh no.
They're fun. Escape rooms are fun. Can be scary, but fun.
Good team building.
Oh,
Probably.
for sure. Unless there's a lot of people that
Yeah.
just want to do it themselves, which then it gets
Mhm.
complicated.
Oh, yeah.
But it's good team bonding.
And back to what you guys were saying, like, yeah, there's moments where like I'm like, oh, I don't really have the money and I don't really want to like go out and get dressed. So sometimes like after I'm done interning, in order to like beat traffic because I commute to school, I'll go over to my boyfriend's house and I'll just like do homework there so we can be together. But I'm like focused on another task so I can get two things done. I don't know if you guys do that, but I think you shouldn't only do that. Like you should have like set times, like date nights, like you guys were saying, but also like it's just like what you do. Like I love doing that.
Oh, yeah.
You know, it doesn't take much effort.
Oh, we go out, I promise.
Yeah.
We're not
We do some
No, you
stuff.
just
Yeah, we
stay
do, like-
home all
no,
the
no,
time.
no. We go out, but
Yeah.
primarily we like to be home, which I like.
Yeah, ever
Yeah.
since school started,
Mhm.
I think a lot of our date nights have been let's stay home and watch a movie.
Yeah,
And
but
just be there.
I feel like a date is really what you make it, though. You know,
Exactly.
spending quality time with that person. So
Yeah.
it could be a date watching movies on your couch, or you could go out to dinner. You can make it a date, whatever you want.
Yeah.
Definitely. So our next topic is about what's the most important thing to you in a relationship. It could be like what you find most important in the person you're trying to date, or just like
Just anything.
just anything.
I'd say honesty.
Mm.
Like, just in general.
Mhm.
You know, just be like true to what you want. You know, do you want to, you know, very committed, or do you want to be more open, or, you know, just something casual, just stuff like that. And also just, you know, in the relationship, you
Yeah.
know, just, you know, don't play games, don't
Vocalize what you want.
yeah, pretty much.
Versus keeping it in your head and expecting the other person to know what you're thinking.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It's a very cliche thing of me to say, but communication
Oh,
is
yes.
definitely very important.
Mm-hmm.
But that also has to do with honesty, right? Vocalizing what you think and what you feel. So whenever something bothers you, instead of letting it affect your mood and affect your day, express that to your partner
Mhm.
and say, this bothered me. I don't like it when you do this. And then try to solve it from there. That was, or it has been an issue for me in terms of when something bothers me, I just keep it inside instead of communicating it with my partner or my family. So I think in terms of as an individual, making sure that no matter what's happening, I let my partner know what's in my head, because I can't expect him to know what's in my mind when it's
Right.
myself.
That's so true. Especially, I know this about guys. Like, most of them, like, cannot. I mean, I don't want to judge every guy, but like a lot of them cannot read your mind. Like, it's kind of like an impossible task. I don't know if you guys can say that. Some guys are really good at like judging emotions and like what you're feeling, but they're not gonna be able to pinpoint what made you upset. So it's best for like you to tell them what's wrong, what they did.
What about you? Oh, yeah, go ahead.
I heard this quote one time that said, you know, I may be a lot of things, but what I'm not is a mind reader. You know, and I feel like
Yeah.
that applies to everyone. You just have to say what you're thinking, you know, just get it
That's
out in the
true.
open.
Yeah. Kari?
I think communication is important regardless of like what status you're in. Like, you can be single and trying to continue to be single, and then you can just be looking for a fling, you can be looking for something serious, but regardless of like what you're looking for, I think communication applies to everything. And it's like, if you're not looking for anything serious, then let that person know up front. Like,
Mhm.
give them the courtesy of like choosing whether or not they want to be in this like non-serious relationship with you or to get out. And it just like takes away just game and stress, and it's just like it solves so many things up front, and it prevents things too.
Mhm.
So it's just being proactive and just being transparent.
Yeah. What about you?
I think they pretty much like. I guess I just agree with all. I agree with all of them. Like, just be honest. Just say what's in your mind. Well, not everything in your mind, but you know, the stuff people ask you in your mind. Like,
Yeah.
personally, I'm pretty open and honest when I talk to people. Sometimes too honest. Sometimes, so like, oh, what are you thinking? And I would just say something like, I'm thinking why fire trucks are not called water trucks that are full of water, and then they'll just stop talking and be like, whoa.
You're actually really, really funny, Aaron. I know that when we were in Rome,
Yeah.
oh my goodness, when you said McDonald's to his response, when I heard that, I didn't go that day, and they came home and they said Aaron said the funniest thing ever. And then what was the question that
Carl asked.
Carl asked.
Yeah, I'm actually taking one of his classes right now, and he brings this up like almost every week to the class.
Really?
Yeah, he basically tells them that we were standing outside of the what was it called, the arches outside of the Colosseum.
Yeah, the Arch of the Triumph or something.
The Arches of Triumph.
Yeah.
And the question that he presented to the class was, the context was that these were considered like magnificent arches, and not many other places in the world has them. And then he asked, what place can you think in America that has like magnificent arches? And of course, no one said anything because no one could really think. So I just went with like the deepest thought in my head: McDonald's. Those have golden arches.
It was really
Genius.
funny when I heard it.
Okay. You gonna ask the next question?
How do you show your partner that you love them? Or your family? Or anyone?
I write on a post-it note, "I love you," and I just stick it on their head.
So cute, actually.
That is cute.
I guess for me it's more physical affection.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like when you have those like really deep like longing emotions to like love her, it's always like manifests as a hug or as a kiss or something. I just, want to hold her tight.
Yeah.
It's great. I love it. That's what I try and do too. I always want to be there for him, to love and support him, because Greg's, an anthropology major, so I know at some point he's going to have to travel and be far, just like, studying abroad in Rome. So I always want to be there for him, to support him in all of his endeavors. That's how I want to show that I love him,
Yeah.
Whatever he wants to do.
That's awesome.
For sure, the support thing, I know that support means a lot to him. So whether it's vocalizing him or doing things to make it easier for him to do what he needs to do, I try to show support. And then I'm very much a verbal affirmation person, so I'll just try to vocalize that, hey, I love you, I'm here for you, if you need anything, just let me know. And then I think those are the main things.
Yeah, definitely. For me, in my experience, so my boyfriend and I, we always text good morning, good night. So we wake up, text each other before we go to bed. We let each other know whether we're going to not be awake to answer. And also just checking in. I don't have to be texting him all day long, but as long as we're keeping up with each other. And I think going back to the love languages, I try my best to I don't want to say copy, but kind of follow what theirs is. And then for example, my boyfriend's, I think it's affection, so he's very affectionate, very lovey like that. So I will, he really likes to have personal time and talk, and that's what I will do. And sometimes I can be too busy, and then he'll keep me in check, I miss you, can we hang out, this and that. And I think it's different when it's with my family. With my family, I'm not really very huggy, and it doesn't mean that I don't love them or anything, but it's just I guess my family doesn't really embrace a lot. But the way we interact, especially my dad and my sister, is through jokes and not putting each other down, but making fun of each other, making memes out of each other in real life. And so that's just how we share our love between each other and show it.
I totally relate to that. My family is brutal to each other.
Same with my family.
We just roast each other all the time.
Yeah.
It's really funny.
Yeah, same. When it comes to my family, I know that they're super sarcastic, and we just have a good time and share that quality time with each other, and either roast each other, make fun of each other, or be super sarcastic, especially my sisters. But besides family, I know that when it comes to my boyfriend, I definitely show him lots of affection, support, verbal affirmation. I just make sure that he knows that I love him every single day. And you really never know when that person's going to be out of your life. So I want to make sure that he knows that I love him. So I say, I love you. Even just randomly in the day, I'll be like, I love you, right? And he's like, yes, I do. So just in case anything ever happens, because nobody knows when their time is, right? So you have to make sure that no matter who it is, your mom, your dad, your sister, your brother, anybody who you love knows that you love them. So that's what I do. And I buy gifts. I'll buy him food. I know that we work together, so whenever we're in class, so he goes to school here. Whenever we get out of class, I buy the food for lunch, and then we go to work, or he'll buy dinner. So it's just a sense of doing little acts of kindness, right?
Definitely. And also, too, I know when... Okay, well, I'm going to rephrase this better. So, I know that my boyfriend loves me, not just because he tells me, because this action has to follow his words, but he's proven to himself that he's loyal, he's kind, he's trustworthy, and I also feel very secure in myself. There's been other guys that I've talked to where, I wasn't secure, oh, they're talking to other people, blah, blah, and I don't worry about my relationship. I don't worry about what he's doing when I'm not with him, and I don't check his phone. I mean, sometimes if I have it, I'll just look, but there's nothing on there. So I just feel very secure, and I know that that's how like I'm loved, and I try my best to make sure that he feels secure in himself in our relationship, to show them that like this is I love you. Like I'm not these other people, even though they're cute. Like I don't like them. Like I never liked them because you're the one I love.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Trust. Going back to that other topic, trust is definitely a huge one. Because if you don't trust your partner, I don't know what you're doing.
That's so true. If you can't
Yeah.
trust them, you have to really question why you're in the relationship, right?
Yeah, exactly.
I think it's important too to praise each other.
Oh,
Like,
yes.
on good qualities that you find in each other. Like in my communications class, the professor asked us, do any of you guys daily praise your partners, on like their accomplishments or the qualities that you like about them? And I was the only one that raised my hand. And I don't know if they just misunderstood his question, but like you don't tell your partner that like, I love how kind you are. I love how intelligent you are, funny, or, I love how you listen to me or you understand me, to make sure that they know that you appreciate them and you love them.
Yeah, exactly.
That's so true. And especially like I think like for me growing up, I think children in general want their parents to affirm them and what they've done, because there's nothing that's compared to what a parent has to say about what you've done. Like, oh, you got a 4.0, good job, or oh, you got that scholarship, or you made the varsity team for soccer. So I think, yeah, just universally that's really important. Like you said, like I think it's easy to like forget because you're always with that person and they know like that you're proud of them, that you want them to do good, so it's easy to get into that mode.
So our last topic, you want to say it?
Do you want to, or I could say it?
You can say it.
Okay. So our last topic is about marriage. So I know we're all college students, and the marriage age has increasingly been pushed back due to like people being in school and a bunch of other stuff.
A bunch of other factors.
Yeah. So I think the marriage age now is like 28, 29, kind of.
I don't know it. I have no idea.
South Korea has a worse, theirs is like 30s.
In their
Like,
30s?
Yeah. So America's doing better than South Korea. So, do you guys see it in your future? If you do, why? If you don't, why not?
Hell yes. We've like talked about it. It's just like something on our radar, but it's like not with urgency. It's like we're committed to each other. Like he's like my life partner, and then we've already like established that. I feel that, and it's like I don't feel like it has to be like a rushed process. It's just like gonna happen when it happens. Like we both know that we want to be financially stable going into both the marriage and having kids. It's like we just need to get ourselves together, and we're supporting each other through our beginning stages of our career right now, and we're just like that's our priority. And like when the time comes when we're financially stable, then like that's gonna come. But it's like we know it's there. It's gonna happen.
How did you know he was the one?
Man, when you know, you know.
That's actually very true.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. I have a very interesting story. I actually, before meeting my boyfriend, I was only into women, which is interesting. And I thought that I was never going to be with a man ever again. My parents hated it because they're really religious, and I understand their point of view. But at the time, I wasn't looking at men. I just wasn't interested. And he was my friend, and I think one day it just kind of clicked, and we've been inseparable since then. And I just know that he's the man I'm going to marry. And it's really, really weird because I would have never imagined that. So that's how I know.
There was like no sign.
There was no sign.
It was just like,
it just hit. Like, you feel that connection with that person. You know that they're going to be in your life forever, and you know that they're going to be the perfect life partner for you because you just have that chemistry. I mean, it's like there is a moment where you're with them and you just look at them, and it can be emotional because I know that I kind of felt really emotional, and I was like, I don't know what to do with my emotions. I feel so much love for this person, and I have such strong instincts that he's going to be the person that I'm going to be with for the rest of my life. And it's really weird because I'm only 19. Like, I'm turning 20 on Thursday. And
Happy birthday.
Oh, thank you. So it's really weird to know that at such a young age. But when you know this, you know it. And I'm proud to say that I know that this is going to be my life partner. and people can't question you because only you know it.
Do you feel like there's like some type of like negative reaction or stigma? I mean, we can still go on the marriage thing, but before I forget this question, when you like say, oh, I want to get married to the person I'm with, and you're in college or high school, and like people are like, marriage, like what, you're like 19, like have you ever experienced that, like people with that negative attitude towards wanting to get married and thinking about that at a young age?
Like at a young age?
Yeah.
I think one of the recent lessons that I've learned is that everyone's on their own timeline, and you have to really put that into perspective. Like, just because most people go to college when they're 18 and graduate when they're 22 doesn't mean that everyone's going to do that, and it's totally okay. And it's like, just because everyone around you is having babies and getting married, it's like, you don't need to expect yourself to be on the same timeline. Like, everyone has their own trajectory, and just like, you just need to follow, like, do what's right for you, and when your time comes, it's going to come. And it's like, if your timing for marriage happens to come like 2 decades earlier than everyone else, it's just like, that's your life. And it's like, you just gotta do what like feels right to you. Just like follow your gut and do your own life by your own terms.
I agree with that. My my mom actually got married when she was my age.
Oh, wow.
And like she was married when she was going to school, and I was alive when she was going to school. So according to them, they felt like they married a bit young, but they felt it was like the right time for them.
Yeah.
No, I feel like we're the same as with her story. You know, I can very much see myself marrying Riley, and I really do want to.
I sure hope so.
But yeah, again, similar. Just you know, I can really easily see myself having a long, happy life with her. And
So in my experience, I had like a very distinct moment. So for me, like, okay, how am I gonna say this? So I'm waiting till marriage. So obviously I'm not gonna wait forever. And when I date people because I can see myself in a long-term relationship. It doesn't have to end in marriage, but something that can last a long time, because I'm not part of the hookup culture. So why am I going to break my heart in a short-term relationship and waste like everything on a person? And so when I met my boyfriend, I was a junior in high school. It was the summer before junior year, and he was actually one of my friends for like 6 months before we started talking. And before him, there was a guy that I was like interested in. He was like one of my friends, but when we went on a date, like the last thing he said was, I don't think our goals align, because he knew I was waiting until marriage, and I know he didn't want to. So, and I knew what he was going to say, I knew what he was getting at. So I was like, oh, what do you mean? And he was like, well, you want to wait till marriage, and I don't. And so that kind of left me brokenhearted, because I was like, no guy's ever going to want me because I'm waiting till marriage. And it kind of made me question that. And I was like, waiting till marriage or not waiting till marriage does not keep a guy. So I'm just going to wait till marriage. Mm-hmm. And when I accepted that, literally that same summer, my boyfriend admitted that, well, he wasn't my boyfriend at the time. He admitted that he used to have a crush on me. And I used to think he was really cute freshman year of high school, but whenever I would try to talk to him, he would never talk to me. And I was like, okay, I guess he doesn't like me then. And I'm the one who's not going to chase after a guy if they don't make like an effort. So I asked him, I was like, what made you stop? And he's like, well, I still kind of do. And it just happened from there. Mm-hmm. And that same conversation, I asked him, I was like, well, do you see yourself in a long-term or short-term relationship? I know this is like big questions to ask somebody you're talking to, but I didn't want to waste my time, and I didn't want to waste his time either. And he was like, well, hopefully long. And then so I was like, okay, well, are you okay with waiting until marriage? And he said, yeah, he's okay. And it was in that moment that I was like, oh my gosh, he could be just giving me lip service, or, but that's when I knew. And I was like, okay, this is a keeper, because I haven't like found anybody else, and he's my first boyfriend technically. So yeah, that's how I knew.
Mm-hmm. I had a distinct moment. It was the first time that I told Greg that I loved him too, and I almost told him the day before. We went to the Getty, and it was so pretty, and we were standing under one of the arches, and I was like, I could say it right now. It's on the tip of my tongue. And then I was like, wait, don't do that, because I overthink literally everything.
Same.
So the next day, we were just hanging out, and we're sitting in my room together, and I just looked at him. I was like, I think I love you, and he just gave me a big hug and a kiss, and I was like, this is it for me. Like, he's it for me. I just looked at him, and I was like, I just knew, and I don't have any doubts. I really see my future, including Greg,
Yeah.
Do you guys think it's normal to like have doubts like early on, like with your relationships?
Normal?
Yeah, like if you're not sure, like
I don't know. I think if you overthink things,
Mhm.
it's easy to doubt something. But there are many times where, because I know that I question everything. I overthink everything, even on test. Like, I know that that's the answer. But
Like
then I'm
when you
like,
get
wait,
all
there's all
A's?
these... Huh?
like when you get all A's and you're like, or
Yeah.
all true or all false.
Yeah,
and you're
I'm
like,
oh, yeah.
Wait, is that true? Is that false?
And then you
I don't
look
know.
over it like a bajillion times.
Yeah, a bajillion times, yeah. So there are moments where you do that. But there are also moments where you just know things. And there's no question behind it. So I think it depends on certain situations where you have doubt and it's okay. There's other things where there is no doubt because you know that that's what it is. I don't know.
Yeah. But
Yeah.
if you're like just getting to know them or something, then, like if you guys were, like you said, you were friends like 6 months before, you're starting to know that person in like a whole different kind of
Yeah.
realm, as a relationship partner. So there's always new things to discover. So I don't think it's not normal to doubt some
Yeah.
things, because you're just getting to know them in that new sort of light,
You're constantly getting to know something new every day
Mhm.
about yourself, about your partner, about anything surrounding you. So I think it's good to question certain things to really understand them. And also to keep a positive environment. Because I know that when going back to what's really important in a relationship, I know I'm jumping all the way back. But I know that for me, I'm a girl, and I don't know if you guys understand what I'm going to say right now, because you guys are women too, is that when our hormones at times take over our emotions. I don't know if that's ever happened to you.
yes, my boyfriend knows when I'm on my period.
Yeah. So what I'm saying is that PMS is a bitch. And men tend to not understand that. But what I'm now learning is that I can't expect my partner to know how to control what I'm doing with my emotions.
Mhm.
But he can be there for me. I personally have to work on that with a positive mind and a positive mentality, because I know that a lot of negativity is in the air every single day. And I know that that can affect your relationship too, if you think in a negative way versus positive way. And I'm starting to do that. I don't know if any of you are Catholic or not, but Lent is a time where you're supposed to give up something for 40 days. And I gave up negativity for 40 days. And so far, because I know that within 30 days, I think you break a habit or you make I don't know, something
Yeah,
like
yeah.
that, right? So far it's been working and it's been helping my relationship. So I think keeping a positive energy and environment is definitely key to a happier life.
Yeah, that's great.
Yeah, I totally agree with you. Like, not just my boyfriend, but people in general, if I'm having a really bad day or if I am PMSing, I would literally say, like, I'm on my period, so don't take things personal, because I would legit, like, cry over if, like, someone was late and I'm, like, stressed out about it, or if they didn't show up, or I was just like, oh my gosh, like, why aren't you here, Antonio, blah, blah, or I'll just get super angry about, like, the littlest thing. I'm like, I can't think of an example. I'd be like,
It's just anything,
Yeah.
right? Have you experienced that?
Personally, not as much, because, like, for me personally, I used to get, like, really, really bad cramps that were, like, debilitating, and so I started taking birth control, so I don't really experience a lot of that anymore, which I got lucky.
Yeah.
what
You
about
are-
the
I
other
got-
perspective, the guy perspective
Oh, yeah.
on this issue?
Well, like she said, I haven't really seen the whole emotional side of all that, so, and plus she just kind of tells me when it's going on,
Yeah.
so.
It's kind of a joke now, because I'm like, look, I'm definitely not pregnant, so we're good, but
Yeah.
it's a joke.
Yeah. I same with me with the cramps, but I have both cramps and emotions because I have ovarian cyst, so it's even worse for me.
Oh.
I'm incapable of walking the first day.
I know this is like branching off topic, but yeah, that used to
Super
be
off
me.
topic.
No,
Yeah.
like I've passed out and
Oh, yeah,
like
same.
had to stay home before, so it was live with that or start taking the pill, and that drastically changed it for me.
Yeah. Personally, I don't believe in birth control. That's why I'm not taking it. But that's like my opinion, and that's a different topic. So, anyways, did you have anything to say about that?
I'm gonna be honest, I forgot what question we were on.
We were exactly. We went so off topic. We were talking about emotions, like girls' emotions, periods, stuff like that. Like being around that.
I grew up, actually I was around that a lot. I grew up, I have a sister and a mom and dad, and most of my friends growing up during my childhood were predominantly female. Like I didn't have that many male friends, so I kind of already grew up around that emotional times, especially when everyone started hitting puberty.
Mm-hmm.
I kind of just like learned to like not take everything to heart, just like
Yeah.
in general because of that.
Yeah.
But I've heard some really mean stuff.
Yeah, I bet. We can be very mean at times. Anyways, on that note, thank you guys for being here, for sharing your opinions and giving your time. We appreciate that.
And that wraps up. So that wraps. Oh my gosh, I can't talk. That wraps. You just say that. Okay.
That wraps up our first episode of Real Talk with P&J. So thank you guys.